Spider-Man games live and die by their swinging. So when we say a Spider-Man game feels good, what we mean is it feels like a roller coaster.
That's going to build up a lot of momentum and speed as you're going down, and then if you swing it sort of just the right moment, that all transfers into your next swing.
On a coaster, you're slowly, maybe excruciatingly raised up. You hang for a moment in the air, and then you fall. At the last minute, all of that potential energy drags you upward again, or whips you through a loop or around a curve. On a good roller coaster, this repeats over and over again. And each time you drop, your heart is in your throat. The same goes for a good Spider-Man game. Take Spider-Man 2, basically the gold standard of swinging.
I wanted it to feel a bit like you're hanging from a rope and falling through the air, and the rope is catching you, and you're like a human pendulum. So you'd have that visceral experience of both the drop when you jump off the edge of the building or whatever, and then when the rope catches you and you swing forward. You want to feel it in your gut.
Conveniently, our bodies translate fear and G-forces into a feeling of euphoria. The new Marvel Spider-Man captures that feeling.
Our number one thing was the webs had to attach to the buildings. It had to feel like swinging and not flying.
Now that sounds obvious, but it wasn't always the case with Spider-Man games. In the older ones, the webs would just shoot off into the sky, and you would have to suspend disbelief that you were, well, suspended. Like most fun game mechanics, attaching webs to buildings is done with a lot of serious math.
Ryan, you gotta talk some math now. Math and physics.
Talking about math.
But the developers of Marvel's Spider-Man wouldn't reveal exactly how they did it. So we reached out to Jamie Freestrom to tell us what he did.
Well, that system relied on what we call raycasting. And raycasting is simply the act of, okay, if I've got this virtual environment with a bunch of obstacles in it, and I draw a line through that environment from one point to another, what does it hit?
Attaching the webs to real objects sustains immersion, but sometimes realism isn't the way to go.
I'm good.
Case in point, if you make Spider-Man dive and shoot out a web at the last second, his arc should carry him right into the pavement. But in a game about being Spider-Man, the last thing you want is to stop swinging. So the developers cheat physics. Spider-Man basically hovers until his next web attaches. They break the rules to maintain flow. In contrast, the controls are grounded in realism.
Sometimes the way your hands feel on the controller feels more like you are there, you are the character, than other ways you can use the controller. Like cooking games are really great at sort of tricking you into feeling like you're being a chef.
In Marvel Spider-Man, you press the trigger to shoot a web, and you hold it until you want Spider-Man to let go. It's a one-to-one action that makes it feel like you're the one holding the webs. When you let go of the web and plummet, the field of view tightens.
If you play a racing game, when you accelerate, they'll change the field of view, and it feels like you're accelerating more, even though all they're doing is changing the camera lens.
You also get this motion blur effect on the edges of the shot, and a comic book touch, wind lines. As you fall, the sound of traffic and voices on the street rush up to meet you. Just like a roller coaster. You can almost feel it. At the last minute, you catch yourself, and the ride starts all over again. If you like this one and want to learn more about gameplay mechanics, like why the axe in God of War feels super strong, or why the bow in Horizon Zero Dawn is just very, very cool, you can do that here. And if you just want to watch more Spider-Man gameplay, you can do that too. Thanks for watching.
Come